The beautiful views from big league dreams give way to beautiful softball. And we get our first bona fide top 25 matchup here on Wrigley Field. Although the Auburn Tigers certainly made their case that they belong in the top 25. Now we get a chance to keep on rolling as the Aggies of Texas A&M make their Mary Nutter debut against the Oregon Ducks, who have some revenge on their mind. Happy to have you along, everyone, here. Game number 2 from Wrigley. Corey Brooks, Sydney Stupley with you. A&M and Oregon go at it. And the opener from Lindsey Grine, good for strike one. Missy Lombardi, quite literally, Sid, keeping an ace up her sleeve and turning to Grine, a 2.62 ERA, about 20 innings pitched on the year. She's got about 30 strikeouts up against 9 walks. She's been exceptional.
Well, I can't think of a better pitcher than to save who had the second most wins in the nation last year. Lindsey Grine went 30-3, but what makes her so good is she has a lethal rise ball that will make even the best of the best hitters question themselves.
Well, she'll go against some of the best right now. Kennedy Powell, who is universally known as KP for this Texas A&M group, the absolute prototype of a leadoff hitter. You get a great matchup right out of the gate. Good on good.
She led the Aggies in runs last year with 63, stolen bases with 19, and oh, by the way, ranked 3rd in hits and 5th in batting average. I mean, what does she not do? She's such a triple threat hitter, and that's why they love leading her off.
Comes in riding a 10-game hitting streak. That's one of the other real nice parts about the elite teams in this tournament. Almost to a team, they come in with such great momentum. Even if their record is Oregon's, say, and it looks a little more deceptive, they've got a lot of really strong players coming in. They've just played a great schedule. Today is certainly included in that. Grine comes home. First ball in play for KP. You don't often win the race. Kamake is right there for the opening salvo.
It's a really crucial leadoff out, especially for Oregon, who wants to start better this game than they did last game. Their motto all of 2025 was start fast, stay fast, and finish fast. And in order to execute all 3 of them, you got to start with inning number 1.
Ariel Kowalowski next up for the Ags. Kalilowski gives that thing a ride, dropped it down into right, where Butler is sitting right where she needs to be. A great first step by Elon Butler to take away a hard hit ball.
This ball is ricocheted off the bat, gets on top of the rise ball, and Butler almost feels like a first baseman with how quickly that ball came on her. Does a great job, not a lot of time to react, but puts herself in perfect position. 2 quick outs for Oregon.
Grine living up to the billing. Maya Perez poses a unique challenge. Behind Maya, it's Edwards, Work, Demet, Sowney, Mathis, and Brajol, the opening 9 here for the Ags of TAMU. Slid that in defensively for UO. Outfield from left to right. Harper, Crescio, and Butler. Infield that same direction. Flannery, Ho, Jones, and Maake. The battery is Grine and Cox.
And Cox, one of the best defensive catchers you'll see in this league. But she does such a great job, and she'll have to do today against Texas A&M hitters. She'll keep you really honest. She's not afraid to throw a back pick. She's thrown out 6 base runners already this year, 3 caught stealing, and 3 from pickoffs.
Tried to drop that in the dirt. Maya Perez doesn't swing at a whole lot of bad pitches.
You have an incredibly disciplined Texas A&M lineup. Some of the best pop in the country, but also a very low strikeout rate, as you said, just very disciplined, understand what they want to attack.
The greatest walks season in the history of Texas A&M softball last year. Just one facet of one of the biggest breakout campaigns that we saw anywhere in our sport in 2025.
And with that can come pressure, and that's one thing that Trisha Ford said, as she felt like Perez was pressing this ball, has finally settled back in.
Oh, across the diamond. And the stretch from Maake does the job. The ace card's in play for the Ducks. And Lindsey Grind looks the part. 1, 2, 3. Now here come the Ducks on the other end. Very much that ace as well. And there's the look for this Oregon attack. A group, certainly, Sid, that's going to have some revenge on their mind after Auburn put up double-digit runs in the opening salvo.
And we're looking at Caitlin Jones, who is coming off of a 4-for-4 appearance earlier today. She's one of the hottest leadoffs in the country. She hit 400 last weekend, hasn't missed a beat. And then behind her in the 2 spot, all of the power in the world, Amari Harper, currently leading this Oregon Ducks team now with 3 home runs on the season.
A great game today makes it a 6-game hitting streak. For the all Big Ten second baseman, Caitlin Jones. And she'll work ahead to open the day.
And she just has unbelievable barrel control. I think that's what I've been most impressed about, is she finds a way to put the ball in play on any sorts of pitches. We saw her do it last game with rise balls, drop balls, and off speeds.
Meanwhile, in the circle for Lessington, a 2.90 ERA. She is 3-0 for the Ags this year. In her 19 1/3 innings pitch, she has struck out 21 while walking a grand total of 1.
You love a pitcher who is not afraid to attack the zone. And honestly, no surprise after what a prolific freshman campaign that she had. She led the pitching staff in ERA, whip, and batting average against her. She also set a program single-season record with 19 strikeouts, 1 game, and threw the first Aggie freshman no-hitter since '08.
Right up the middle and straight through. Another dub for K-Dub on a day full of them. It's a leadoff single for the Ducks.
Makes this game look so effortlessly. The way she's able to choke up, shorten her swing, and just deliver the ball up the middle. 5 at-bats, 5 singles on the day. I mean, that is just so impressive.
Sets up Amari Harper, one of the RBI machines for Oregon in a first game that had no shortage of offense. There was not a single 1, 2, 3 inning in either direction between the Ducks and the Tigers.
She's part of the 3-headed monster they picked up from the portal. Comes in with a lot of pop, a lot of home run experience. And that was one thing that Coach Lombardi said to us, Corey. She said, when I looked back at the Women's College World Series, the teams who were going all the way were the ones who could hit the long ball. Granted, her team had 86 home runs last season, but she said, I'm hungry for more this year.
Harper watching that one in the zone. Be an interesting matchup to watch. Coach Ford is one of the best pitching-minded coaches in our game, and no one knows that better than Amari Harper, who was a part of this Texas A&M program. Is she able to take any insights from her time and now leverage it against the Ags playing for the Ducks?
It's also a game where you try to not get too emotional while playing, right? You try to not
Sure.
make the game bigger than itself. And that's where you see her take a lot of deep breaths in between pitches and just focus on simplifying the game and not paying attention to who you're playing against.
Harper lifting it right back into foul territory. We've got a couple of those matchups here on Wrigley where I think it's going to be incredibly important to keep that heart rate level. This is definitely one. Harper has the reunion game. The thing that comes most to my mind is the Super Regionals rematch between South Carolina and UCLA, where there's a few returners for South Carolina. It's largely a brand new team, but they've got a good chunk of returners who are not going to be able to force the issue against UCLA, even though you want that revenge. You have to stay level, to your point. Looking for that right back up the middle play again. Edwards, the short flip, and Talon Edwards looking comfortable at the keystone. Yet another position for Talon Edwards where she excels defensively. What else is there?
And Coach Ford couldn't say enough about Edwards, how selfless she is. A Gold Glove winner at third base, says, I'll do what's best for the team. Let me go to second base, and she has not skipped a beat. Her glove work is so sound.
So Edwards gets it done defensively in the field for A&M. Mathis, Vrajel, and AK out and right. Defense that same direction. Powell, Dement, Edwards, and Wart. Sowney doing the catching for Lessentine.
Those are the signs of great teams, players who are willing to put their pride aside and play the position that the team most needs. Everybody has a favorite position. Growing up, it was everybody wanted to be the shortstop or the pitcher. But what's best for the team right now? And that's something that this 26 Texas A&M team really wants to have as their priority.
Right up shoot.
Lessentine establishing a rise ball early on, that this Oregon team is, one, going to have to set a hard ceiling, what they won't allow her to expand up in the zone or find a way to bring their barrel on top of this pitch.
Quickly right back in. Right back to that top part of the zone. Both these pitchers not going to be afraid, Sid, to work up. Huge part of the game for each.
Which I was a rise ball pitcher. This is the part of the game that I love. But with rise balls comes risk. And that's one thing everyone has to be aware of. We also have seen a lot of home runs been given up today so far in this field to rise balls.
On a hop. KP has one, turned to first. Not in time. Bat still looking to settle in, including the Easton bat. The Easton Ghost Unlimited is now available. Get a sneak peek at the brand new, unreleased Rawlings Halo bat. You won't want to miss it.
Right now, Lessentine doing such a great job at creating that last second break on her rise ball that's just tying up these Oregon hitters on their hands, causing those weak rollovers.
A couple of fielders' choices out of the hand of Sid Lessentine.
And you see how well the defense has responded. So clean so far. That just feeds a pitcher's confidence to trust their stuff through the zone. What I really love right now is when Lessentine's able to show that off-speed pitch, especially as a rise ball pitcher. If you can establish something down in the zone, that's just going to make these hitters have to stay even more honest against you.
McCox going right back to that top part. A pitcher not afraid to work the top part of the zone, who's named Sid. Go figure. You'll have some extra insight today, I imagine, my friend.
It comes with the name. You just have to be a rise ball pitcher if your name is Sydney. I don't make up the rules.
Yep, that's fair. Pop throw down to second. And the tag applied. The freshman not afraid to hunt outs. Maddie Sowney drops one from out of nowhere. Zeros on the board. Defense ruling the day. The very first inning. Always a fun time in Cathedral City at one of the most unique events in all of college sports. Mary Nutter would like to thank all the vendors and sponsors for this 2026 event. Have all the stands, all the vendors across all the different fields here. Sid, you've been here. It really is a one-of-one opportunity out in Cathedral City.
It feels like a mini Oklahoma City is the way I can describe it, but you just add the mountains in the back. It is just so gorgeous of a venue, and on top of that, what really just warms my heart is the hundreds of volunteers who come together to make this possible for these women. There's not an atmosphere like this where you can look over and you see another top team in the country playing just a few feet to your left or your right. And on top of that, you look at the outfield and you see replicas of MLB stadiums. I mean, how cool.
Yep. Heart of the order coming up for Texas A&M, starting with Talon Edwards. And watching strike one. A lot of her teammates calling her grandma. She's in her grandma season now as a senior, which makes me feel even older because I very much remember Talon's freshman season. We covered her all 4 years. She's been a dynamic player, been through a lot, and now getting a real opportunity to cap her career in an awesome way at Texas A&M.
She's somebody that you just have watched the college softball space embrace her in such a lovely way. Her mother played college softball at Oklahoma Baptist. Her brother played baseball at Murray State. Sister Trinity played softball for Missouri, Texas Tech, and San Jose State. The world just feels like it's known about her forever, and it made her career feel extra long. And I know Texas A&M feels really honored to have her on their roster.
Came to College Station with Michaela Wark, who's on deck. So you have that extra friend in the clubhouse. And that wasn't just the, oh, let's go get one so we can have the other. They've both been humongous in the early season for the Ags.
And Trisha Ford gave her the ultimate compliment. Said nobody wants to win more than her. Everybody knows that. Yep. The way that she practices, the way that she shows up to the field every day.
Sails high. Good time for that with nobody on. Overall, Coach Ford looking for some protection for Maya Perez, and she gets it in back-to-back fashion right now. It's right behind Perez in the lineup is Talon Edwards and Michaela Wark.
Two players who I feel like do such a good job at competing side by side and also relaying information to one another.
That's just out of the reach of Jones. Talon Edwards with a veteran ball placement, the opening base knock for Texas A&M.
Good things happen when you put the ball down on the ground nice and hard. And Jones, that one she would make 9 out of 10 times. That's why you hustle it out if you're Edwards. I love even right there, we saw a glimpse of Grind saying, I got you. You want a pitcher who has that type of response. Says, let me pick you up now.
One of the most powerful players in the SEC to begin her time in Aggie land. Here's McWork.
Quiet but feisty is how Coach Ford described her. The great thing is when you come from Women's College World Series experience, she's just a competitor who knows what it takes to get all the way there.
See Grind attacking all three levels. That's something we're going to see all day, Sid. A genuine three-level rise ball, and each one has its own velocity to it. It's one of the toughest pitch setups to have in the sport, but Lindsey Grind's got it down.
Very few strong enough to do so. Lombardi says it's because she's built like a gymnast. That's what allows her forearms to be so strong. And in doing some more research about it, I started calling up my old pitching coach, Michelle Gascoigne, who Coach Lombardi coached at Oklahoma, and I'm realizing there is quite the connection to players who did gymnastics growing up that has allowed them to have strong upper bodies and throw these rise balls on three levels that we don't see often on the women's side of the sports. We see it in the New Zealand men's fast pitch type of play, and it's starting to trickle more and more over to our side of the sport.
Right now, Grind trying to work the other end of that equation. Couple off speed, just off the plate. Work taking her time with it. And now a full count. First of the day issued by Lindsey Grind.
The biggest thing that Oregon struggled with in game one to open it up is they had three different pitchers who all did a great job getting ahead early on in the count. They weren't able to finish it. That's something that Grind does not want to fall into that trap. Just allowing that extra second. So you fell it off your shin. I promise you'll still feel it years later. At least that's what mine feel like.
I believe that. Payoff pitch from Grind. Work was on it. Just a little bit out in front.
What a gritty at bat by Work. Doing a great job of just fouling off every different type of pitch that Grind has. And what that allows is whether she comes up with success this at bat, it allows her next hitters coming up after her to have success because you're tiring out the pitcher.
And even better, she takes the walk. The better part of 10 pitches, and Work heads to first. That's a quality plate appearance by any measure. And it's 2 on the pond for the Aggies.
Is so tough within her stance. She does a great job understanding when Grind was nibbling and then being able to lay off and make her pay and just fouling off pitches. They're taking a note from Auburn's book. How can you wear out the Oregon pitchers? That's where Auburn saw success against them because they have a really deep bullpen, one of the deepest in the country, but they need to find a way to close out the at-bats.
So game number 2 of the day for Oregon. So that pitching staff has already been taxed after Auburn got a whole lot in the offensive category in game number 1. And now KK Dement, the reigning freshman All-American, looking to continue to force Grind to work.
And Dement, as you said, coming off an unbelievable freshman season. She set Texas A&M's freshman records with 18 doubles, 64 RBIs, while ranking 4th most in all-time program history, and a lot of other categories.
Went after that one in the dirt. Jones just takes the play at second. That's a good job to kind of be on the base paths, create a little bit of eye candy, and distract what could have been a double play.
Yeah, for Oregon right away, if you're Jones, you just want to feed it off to your shortstop, hoping to turn a double play here. But this is really crafty base running. Watch her stop, kind of get in the way, make her think about it, and all of a sudden, now you have Dement, who's safe at first base and only one out.
First pitch swinging for the true freshman Sowney.
That's where Coach Ford does a really great job at just having her players understand the game. Every one of her players, not only are they tough, hardworking, but they have a high IQ. Just always want them to understand what is going on in the game.
One of the fastest ways to get yourself in the lineup as a freshman catcher is have a big arm. Maddie already showed hers with a caught stealing in the bottom of the first. Now another way to stay in that lineup is to bring a run home. Pop throw down to second. And it will be both of the last two half innings that see a caught stealing. Emma Cox says, all right, let's play.
Emma Cox, 7th out so far this season. 4th one, throwing the runner out of second base. Talk about the freshman Ho, too. This is her second game at shortstop of the season. Delivers a nice tag.
No team here at Mary Nutter is going to be afraid to run. Creating chaos is the name of the game at any time in the sport, especially on this field and in this tournament. These catchers denying the chaos. A nasty changeup from Grind ends the threat. Aggies get 60 feet away, and then the Ducks ace does her thing.
It fills momentum throughout your entire dugout, and you're just stepping up to the plate with a little bit more confidence and swagger. And that's exactly what this Oregon Ducks team needs, is to get back to their identity that they're that team. The 2025 Big Ten champs, they made it to the Women's College World Series with a younger team that's now back, developed, and on paper stronger.
Both teams bringing 4, 5, 6 up in this second. A&M nearly scored, did not. Now it'll be up to Lessentine to try and match.
For Oregon, it's going to come down to what's their game plan against Lessentine's rise ball. Very quickly in that first inning, that you saw that's going to be her game changer. If you can take away that pitch.
Whew. Cox, deep drive to center, and Wrigley Field is just big enough for Vrajel.
You're hoping that Cox gets all high fives on that type of off-speed big swing. It's exactly what you want Oregon to do. To credit to Lessentine and putting the ball low enough that it wasn't out and not a home run. That's still a really good swing for Oregon. You want to build off of it.
Here's Maake, who, if she gets a hold of one, Wrigley Field nor any other softball diamond in this country is big enough to hold it. She ripped a 300-footer here last year.
It's funny, when I was waking up this morning thinking about the Mary Nutter, I think that was the hit that I was replaying in my mind, because it'll never leave it when that's when Maake came on the national scene. And I can think back to the Alliance tournament when Maake was a high schooler. It was out in Indiana. They did a home run derby, and she belted off probably 18 in a row, bat flipped. I was like, this girl is going to be someone to be reckoned with here in college softball.
Both teams have players who had a lot of success in an Alliance home run derby. Maya Perez beat Jocelyn Allo and won. Highest level of the sport on display. Maake trying to get on top of the ball on top.
And that's what's so fun, is so many of these athletes, while college softball seeing them for the first time, they've been playing against each other for years. In travel ball to now in college. They have so much shared memories and stories, and also that competitive fire.
That's in on Maake's hands, caught the nub of the bat. It's so funny because obviously softball hubs tend to congregate, right? And so you have these players that played together in travel ball, grew up together. At this level, there's really never more than a degree or two of separation between any two softball players.
I think what makes the ones great is when you talk to the coaches, it's what these athletes are able to do between the ears in their college days. Everyone was recruited because they had talent, but who can be the most mentally strong hitters and softball players and learn from their mistakes and not ride the waves within our sport too high or too low?
Maake in front, and Mathis takes advantage for out number 2. Lessentine changing speeds really well, Sid, through the first few.
Yeah, it's so impressive. Inning number 1, Lessentine was able to get so many outs through the pop-ups from rise balls. Now this inning, she's showing how she can layer it up with the off-speed pitches. And that's the sign of a really good pitcher, when they can change how they get you out and never stay the same.
Amaral going after the first pitch she sees, straight up and out.
When we talked to Coach Lombardi, she said, I know this team has power. It's just about getting back to their swings. And they did a lot of live this week, a lot of just hitting off their own pitchers, and just try to get them to getting back to that confidence in the box.
It's a part of the season where Coach Lombardi completely understands that a lot of the results are not going to go your way, but she said she loves this schedule for this group. It's a veteran team that's not going to get down on itself, even sitting at 500 on the year, because it gets you ready for the Big Ten schedule. And as long as you do your job in the Big Ten, you're going to be sitting pretty for the postseason.
I think that's what all of these top coaches, be Coach Lombardi or Coach Ford, they have that bigger picture mindset, whereas a player every game could feel like life or death. They understand that it's a marathon, not a sprint, especially in a season where you're playing close to 60 games. You have to go through the gauntlets and the obstacles as a team, because you want to be playing your best in May to then make it to June.
Especially in these two leagues, unquestionably the best two in our game. Good battle.
What I love is that these teams aren't afraid to schedule each other in non-conference games. If you want to be the best, you have to play the best right away.
Two, almost.
That was a pretty pitch. That's when, if I'm catching Lessentine, I'm saying, give me another one of those. I'll work for you behind the plate.
See where she goes. Sid's payoff, a little more central this time. Amaral refusing to go down. Back-to-back 7+ pitch plate appearances for Oregon.
And celebrating the little wins here, Oregon. Okay, we're getting closer. We're getting more on time.
Driven into that Bermuda Triangle, but Mathis has the answer. A great route run perfectly, and Kelsey Mathis steals it off the grass. Defense is in midseason form. Sid, that's what it's about right there. Players, future players, getting the opportunity to take in this game. I've heard it from so many. Maya Brady immediately comes to mind, a player who grew up coming to this tournament, but young people get the chance to enjoy the highest level of the game on a beautiful day. That, at its core, in one camera shot, is what Mary Nutter's all about.
We could see the softballs on display, Corey, and so many younger players bringing them out to have their favorite players signed. And that's what's so neat about this tournament is they're in an atmosphere where right after the games, the players have to walk right by them and through the stands. So it's a way for them to interact with so many different teams.
Each of the last two half innings see the defensive star from the previous half come up to bat first. Here's Kelsey Mathis for the first time in the batter's box.
It's almost like the game knows and it's rewarding you.
Yep. How often have we heard a coach say that exact phrase, the game knows, because it does.
Oh, I think I have it drilled into my brain from my very own college coach, Kate Drohan, so that's probably why I continue to say it all the time.
Yeah, I believe it.
And what's cool is when you talk to both of these coaches, which we had the opportunity within Coach Ford and Coach Lombardi, they both stress so much of, I'm trying to build the best softball player I can build, but also the best woman. And we think about those lessons that they tell us stick within our minds, and they're going to stick within these players' minds after college.
Sent straight back. Sophomore Kelsey Mathis. They bring in a lot of momentum into this campaign. Phenomenal down the stretch, exactly like you want to see from a freshman. Now finding the answers in her second go-around. Ryan brings nasty velo for strike three.
And she's fired up. When she can find that rise ball location, it is hard for anyone to hit it. So sharp here, working at around her mid-rise level. You can see Cox firing it down behind her. The whole infield knowing that she got that one.
Rajo looking to slap and taking ball one.
One thing Oregon loves about Grind is they want her to be expressive. When you have a pitcher who's on the mound, who's not only mowing down hitters, but is getting fired up behind them, that's what leads your team.
Just that little in between her. And Frankie Vrajel puts it where it needs to be to reach base.
This one is put almost equally between short and third base, and just that little bit of miscommunication caused no one be able to field that cleanly.
couple of ones that UO's very capable of making. Goes down as a single, but that's one that Oregon can handle. And ultimately, if you're going to have that happen, you want it to happen now, right, in this tournament, because, okay, it's on film, we can have the conversation, you correct it for the games that count in the conference standings.
And if I'm Coach Lombardi, I'd rather have two players running full speed after a ball than thinking the other one was going to get it. So those are mistakes you can correct.
KP round 2. Grind just smiling. Okay. That one's off the top. Rajal in prime position.
And Cox doing a nice job kind of delivering that one all the way back to Grind in the circle, giving our umpiring crew another opportunity after that one just goes right off of his face mask. And umpires, they're just like catchers. They do a hard job back there. Always at risk for a foul tip and handling it like champs.
Eric Hawthorne doesn't care. He goes right back to work, and we'll watch the walk from Kennedy Powell. Kowalewski up in a golden opportunity. A player that A&M has waited for after she had to sit out due to transfer rules, which I almost didn't even realize was a thing we were still doing, has an opportunity to deliver on those expectations right now.
It doesn't feel like a thing that we do anymore with how easily it is to go from one school to the other. But the great thing about this, as hard as it was, as Coach Ford said, it's almost like when a player gets injured and they don't ever want to be sidelined, but it forces them to take a different perspective on the game and really become a student of it. And they feel like that's helped her even more so to prepare for this season.
It's because she was a mid-season transfer, by the way, staying in the SEC from Florida. So it was a full calendar year. It took her fall as well, but she hasn't shown it. Comes into this tournament hitting about 400, on base at about 500, slugging about 600. Watch and strike one.
And these teams are so good at, well, you spend most of the year not being able to play, in simulating live game situations, playing and scrimmaging each other. So when it comes for the spring, you feel like you've seen a lot of live pitching. Grind locking back in with Cox. Always saying, I'm right there with you. She looks to continue to find back that rise ball level.
Drop that off the table. Good time, good strength. On it. Driven to right, but it stays up long enough for Butler to come and make the grab. A hard hit ball, but it's right to Elon Butler for the out. Relatively routine for Butler. Reminder that DeMarini has new and unreleased bats now available. You can check them out at your nearest dealer. The bats trying to get going here with still 2 on the pond and a very dangerous bat to come up for Texas A&M.
You have to love a gutsy back-to-back off-speed pitch call, by the way. Lombardi, one of the best to be able to always feel like calling whatever the hitter is not expecting. And then Grind being able to execute well enough. She's doing a nice job so far, making that off-speed pitch at a really good level that even when the hitters hit it, they have to go down so far they can't do much with it.
Maya Perez. Seeing the count level. It's so interesting because there's the perception that as a rise ball pitcher, you're only supposed to throw rise balls, especially when you can get it at all 3 levels like Grind does. But there's some days the complementary stuff is just as good, if not better. I think that's probably where the changeup's at right now for Lindsey Grind, certainly in this inning.
especially when teams know your rival pitcher. That's the one pitch they're going to scout and game plan against. So you throw another pitch and you're like, wait, that's not allowed. She can't throw that too.
If the rise and the change are both working on the same day, it's lights out. There's not a nastier combo in the sport.
It's every hitter's nightmare right there. And then, oh wait, Oregon also has a freshman on staff this year who can throw 72 miles per hour for a drop ball. So, you know, they can bring different looks into this game whenever they need to.
Yeah. You got a kick when Coach Lombardi told you that was an easy 72. There ain't nothing easy about it, I promise. Two's up. Maya Perez looking to go up the middle. Grind knocked it down. There's no play to be had. Maya Perez makes it happen, and the bases are full for Talon Edwards.
This is a tough one for Grimes because it's a good pitch that she's able to stop herself. She kind of bobbles the ball here. And I'd rather her not throw the ball than throw the ball away, especially when there's a runner on third base. However, I would have liked to see her kind of pump fake there and try to get Morales rounding third base a little big. But ultimately, you have 2 outs, reset, and now go attack this hitter.
That's a great job by Maya Perez to hustle out of the box and not just assume it's an out. Not that you'd ever expect it from the All-American, but you never take anything for granted. She did a good job, and now Talon Edwards, the biggest opportunity in our second game of the day here on Wrigley Field, and Talon will start ahead.
And this is absolutely who you want up to at the box in this situation. It's why they wanted Edwards in 4 to be the heart of the lineup, be an RBI producer.
Edwards hits it hard. Ho has it to slam the door. Lindsey Grind digs deep and Houdini's out of the jam. Zeros still up. I'll tell you what, Sid, our friend Nicole Mendez talks a lot about the kettle corn at Mary Nutter, and it's amazing. For me, this is the driver right here, the tri-tip sandwich, world famous in our sport. I mean, look at that. That picture is worth 1,000 words and more.
I mean, not only are we getting some of the best softball, but you can then watch the softball with fine dining. Are you kidding me? Mary Nutter has just brought this to a whole new level with their different types of concession stands.
I'm sure Ags Nation that's made the trip really thinking about it, right? Because they've got some opinions about barbecue in the state of Texas. And I'm sure even for them, it's passing with flying colors.
And that's what's so fun about when you come out to this tournament. Not only do you have all the fields and the yummy concession foods, but Corey, we've been there how many times? There's so many booths of you have the pro players from AUSL come out. You have Team USA players. You have Easton. You have Mizuno. It just feels like all of college softball shows up for this weekend and for everyone to enjoy.
Taryn watches ball 1. Got that USA softball logo right behind home plate. The head coach of the USA team in LA 28 is here as Oklahoma will make their debut on this field a little bit later. The connections to the highest levels of the sport. That is stung off Taryn's bat, and she's on the board. The freshman continuing her debut day.
Ho has showed that no moment is too big for her. Even being her first collegiate starts today, she has done a great job stepping into the moment. Quick hands on this one, and just scorches a line drive to get this offense going.
Sid, you mentioned it last game, but when Coach Lombardi compared her to Paige Sinicki, my jaw dropped, because Paige Sinicki is one of the single best defensive shortstops I've ever seen in this sport. So to throw out that compliment to a freshman speaks unbelievably highly of Taryn Ho.
And she said the reason why she felt like a reminder of Sinicki is because they both are about 5 feet tall, but they play as if they were 10 feet tall. And like you said, the ultimate compliment in what competitor and how big she plays.
We got a bunch of players in this tournament that continue to prove what we know, and I think what some people in the sport forget. Height's pretty unimportant in this game, as that's lifted sky high to center and clean.
And that's what I think is so beautiful about softball, is the fact that so many different builds can be successful in our sport. It's really unlike any other, where you could be tall, you could be shorter, but it's, you know, how well can you swing the bat? How well can you field the ground ball?
I always go back to my first year covering the sport professionally, and Kirsty Merritt, who is like 5'5", plays for Team USA and is one of the best power hitters in America. It just doesn't make a difference. And so whenever I hear a player get called too small to play at Division I immediately know the person who says it does not understand the sport of softball.
It's the size of the heart that an athlete plays with.
100%. Speaking of, the 5'3" sophomore getting her hacks in for UO. Crescio battling against Lessington.
This is a really neat opportunity for Crescio, somebody who is utilized primarily as a pinch runner in her first season with the Ducks. She stole 6 bases. Now we're seeing what she could do with her bat, and that's what's so fun about this time of the year. We're seeing new faces emerge from both sides, especially when you look at 2 of these lineups who do have underclassmen starting.
She's a top 20 recruit. And on the other end for A&M, basically their entire back half of the order is underclassmen. Good battle here.
A&M brought in 8 freshmen, 1 transfer.
Top shelf, no problem for KP. Lessington rolling.
She's done such a nice job at just mixing up her pitches. She's always feeling like a step ahead of these hitters. She's allowing 1 foul ball to lead to her next pitch and doing such a good job at just creating speed differentials and changing eye levels against these hitters. And she's going to be tasked with one of her biggest challenges, is going against Kaylin Jones, who has been unstoppable today.
Yeah. K-Dub's about halfway to 10 hits over 2 games. One to her.
And what I really love about the way that she approaches every pitch is she's either all in on going for it, or you see her not even attempt to swing. She's just so dialed into the type of pitch she wants to attack.
And yet, Lessington dodges the bat there. It speaks very highly of the command and control that Sid Lessington has right now.
The spin that she is working with that rise ball, incredibly sharp.
Not a bad pitch.
Suwani doing everything she can, trying to frame it for her pitcher. This is when you want to face Jones. When you have 2 outs, just go right at her.
She's looking to shorten up with 2 strikes, sends it straight back.
I love seeing the crowd when we get the foul ball shots, and just how many people have come out today and will be here this weekend. This is usually the lightest crowd on a Thursday.
Be tough to get out of work all day. Once you get to the weekend, it starts to get going, but you don't need much of an excuse to come out here and enjoy this incredible softball. Dement takes the short flip to close the door. A&M still rolling. Sid Lestantine has all the answers. Another incredible day here in Cathedral City. From grassroots to gold, USA Softball is where dream begins, skills are sharpened, and futures are built. Visit usasoftball.com to learn how to get involved in the future of softball. If you're a top 12U or 14U player, check out www.usasoftball.com, the All-American Games tryout date. It is always our pleasure to talk to the great pitching guru in our sport, Trisha Ford, and her squad's putting on a show in that regard. Coach Ford, let's talk about Sid Lestantine. She's doing an incredible job. What have you liked from her so far? Yeah, I think an audio issue there for Coach Ford. We'll try and get that right. I don't want to be putting her words in her mouth, but I imagine she is very proud about what Lestantine's delivered to this point.
All right.
Quick question for you, Coach. Sid Lestantine's balling. How has she accomplished that so far?
Yeah, I just think she's doing a good job of mixing her quadrant and making sure that she's working ahead of these batters.
Coach, your team is looking to score first and break this open. What do you want to see from their adjustments at the plate?
Yeah, I think we're doing a great job, honestly. I just think we got to get that one big hit. We've put pressure on them. We've had runners on base all game so far. So it's just kind of executing. AK's hit 2 balls really hard, but right at somebody.
Oh, you get Mick Work up to hit, so that might very well have that big hit. We appreciate you, Coach.
Absolutely.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Always great to talk to Coach Ford. Really enjoyed our conversation with her in the middle of the week. The word you hear about her, Sid, so often that is very much accurate is honest. She tells it like it is, and it makes for a really fun pre-broadcast conversation or in-broadcast conversation.
I mean, I've had the pleasure of playing against Coach Ford when she was at Arizona State, and she's just somebody who's always going to have a really gritty, fiery team. And I love that she was honest. She said, every group that I have, I throw them in the fire. And for this team who's really young, they've got a lot of experience early. She said, this is different this year because we spend a lot more time in film, really teaching them the game. But you could tell she just has such a joy being around this group and the spark and energy they bring to the field.
Work first pitch swinging.
One other thing that Coach Ford said specifically about this group's at-bats, she said that she felt like their at-bats have been good, but she said, I want to see them start to tire out the pitchers and then cash in on that 5th or 6th pitch.
Michaela Wark, the deep drive. Coach Ford asked for the big swing, and Mick Wark delivers.
You hit it so far, you get to where the cowgirl at. I mean, that was one that she knew off the bat. You could just hear that pop, sends a pitch that's deep in center field. She does a great job at just staying in her legs. I mean, this is a really good curveball on the outer half of the plate that she just gets every part of her barrel on it.
Already the 7th home run of the season for Michaela Wark. She's so locked in.
And that's going to force Lindsey Grind to take an extra second right here. I mean, she has full control over what pitches are being thrown, and Coach Lombardi wants her to take ownership and how she can respond and throw the pitches she believes in.
Dement fouling it off for strike one. Wark also making me sound so much smarter than I am when I just joked with Coach Ford. Hey, you've got mid-work up. She might give you the big hit right now. There you go.
Coach Ford's going to want to do interviews with us every half inning now. So we give the good luck.
No kidding. KK Dement gives that one a ride. And it dies right in front of the fence. Still back-to-back hard hit balls. The Ags are starting to see Lindsey Grind a little better here this second time around.
And this is a well-struck ball. I think a lot closer than we all felt off the bat as it continued to carry. And another foot, and that's over the fence.
Sowney watching ball one. If we have to wear the broadcaster's jinx, Sid, every time we say something and the opposite happens, can we get the broadcaster's manifestation from Ags Nation? Maybe a little, hey, good job this time. Maybe less from Oregon, though, so I guess somebody's coming at you no matter what you do.
Exactly. At the end of the day, all we can do is tell the story. We might get lucky every once in a while.
There you go.
And Grind just responding so well. She gets a loud first out, but even that off-speed, one of the best pitches she's thrown all game. I'd like to see her sprinkle in that more as we start to see these A&M hitters get on time with her rise ball.
There you go. Drops the strikeout looking.
This is why Grind is one of the best. She doesn't allow herself to be too emotional in giving up the first run of the game. Instead, comes back 10 times stronger, delivering her best pitches. That's the same curveball that a home run was just hit off of her. This time she came back much sharper.
Rise has too much top shelf, so Kelsey Mathis gets to work ahead for the second straight time.
You're just seeing a better approach by this Texas A&M hitters, in my opinion. It feels like they've established the ceiling against Grind. And if it's below their Evo shield within their elbow, they're in full attack mode by making sure their barrel is above their hands.
Emma Cox pleading for time there. You got to be forceful with it, because if it's too late in the clock, you don't get it. So good job being communicative by the catcher.
Yeah, she's so mature behind the dish. And that's why you take the time. You want to make sure that every pitch is so intentional and that you're on the same page with your pitcher.
Mathis elevates it long enough for Elise to get there and slam the door, but not before Michaela Wark, one of the most powerful in the SEC, adds another. No doubt, 1-0. Bottom of the fourth, Melissa Lombardi joins us here. Coach, we've seen a lot of the off-speed work from Lindsey Grine. It's worked really well. What have you liked with that changeup that Lindsey's brought to the table here in these first few innings?
Yeah, I like how she's working it with her hard stuff. I think she's doing a good job of changing speeds, changing eye levels, and I love how she's competing.
Coach, you want all of your teams to start strong. You've done that defensively, but how can you finish strong and get the bats going?
I think just right here, getting our leadoff on and passing the bat. That's totally what we do best.
Heart of the order's coming up for you, Coach. They'll try and get it done for you. Appreciate you joining us.
Yes, thank you.
There you go. Equal opportunity, Sid.
I love how simple we kept that. Pass the bat. She's exactly right. That's all we need to do in this game.
Amari Harper leads things off. Sid Lestantine pitching with a lead for the first time goes rise with ball one.
And you hope that Coach Lombardi's message can be passed down to her team right now, which I'm sure she's reiterating exactly what she said to us, is keep the game simple. Focus on finding a way to first base, whether that's taking a walk or a little base hit, and then let's start to string them together. Right now we've seen Oregon have a few really good at-bats, but they all feel a bit island and separated and not be able to keep them stringing together.
That's exactly what you want a rise ball to do.
Hers is so good. She's able to get such late, sharp break. When it comes in the zone, it feels at a strike level, and the last second just dances out of the zone.
Nastiness from Lestantine. She's pitched to contact most of the day, her first K.
The sophomore getting better as this game is going on. These are against some of the best hitters in the country. She's able to keep them so unsettled in the box with her rise ball, throwing it at two different heights.
Butler's made some nice plays in right. She watches strike one. It's so interesting, Lestantine getting better over the game. I think she's going to get better over her career. She didn't have a pitching coach before she got to college. And that's something with pitchers at this level we almost take for granted at this point, that they've been around the game so long, coached by some of the greats. That wasn't the case for Sid, and now she's got one of the best pitching coaches in America across this staff, but particularly, of course, her head coach, Trish Ford. Butler giving that thing a ride, pushed it deep to the deepest part of the yard, and it's gone. A Butler bomb for the Ducks to tie it up.
And here come the Oregon home run hitting team that we've all been waiting for, getting every bit of that curveball. A pitch that's on the outside part of the plate. She sends this one deep to center field. And it felt like Oregon was knocking on the door, and it was just a matter of time. A great job by Butler, keeping it simple, doing exactly what Coach Lombardi asked to do.
All right,
Corey,
now we're going to have both coaches asked to do interviews every inning.
You're welcome
Cox
to both sides.
Going after strike one. There we go. Now we can't be accused of anything. It's equal, truly neutral.
And it's funny how when you look back at both home runs, these pitchers have had success, whether it be Grine or Lestantine, with their rise ball. But both of them went to curveballs, and that was the pitch that they give up the home run. So I'm just really interested in seeing how do they continue pitch calling, and it's a great job by the hitters in taking advantage when they finally get that pitch that's lower in the zone to capitalize on.
There's the rise. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
She went right back to it. She said, this is what I'm confident in, and this is what I know I can spin. A sign of a great pitcher is how can you respond after giving up a long ball? And that's about as good of a response as I could think of.
Just a sophomore. You wouldn't have known it at any point during this game. Job doesn't get much easier, though. Here's Make.
And you talked about Ford being her really only pitching coach, and I love her perspective. She said, when I'm coaching my pitchers, I want the ball to tell them the adjustments they have to make.
Make gave it a ride. The rangy defense. AK Dement, even as this group has consistently changed positions, they have lived up to the billing. A pair of solo shots. Well, even Bonet, the proud partner with Mary Nutter. Check out bonet.net for product pricing and create your perfect training system. Oakley is all about recognizing the standout players who bring energy and excitement to softball. Our products are designed for those who respect the game's traditions, always looking ahead. Come see how Oakley is setting the standard in performance and style at www.oakley.com. Not a bad day for the Oakleys, Sid. The sun's out, a beautiful day here in Cathedral City. And a great softball game. Still very much a pitcher's duel, even with 2 solo shots on the board.
I'm surprised we don't see more shades these days. It was one of my favorite pair to wear back in the day. I think everyone's just grateful for some sunshine, especially these first few weeks. It was the best excuse, being a team coming from a colder state, knowing you get to look forward to playing in Palm Springs.
One of many reasons why all these teams are here at the Mary Nutter Collegiate Classic.
This is one of those tournaments where you just feel like anything is possible for any team. We have seen teams get on the map after this weekend when they're able to show out, because here's your opportunity to face ranked teams every day.
Not trying to do too much, send it back right where it came from. A 2-hit day for Frankie Vrajel.
Vrajel just stays so patient in the box, even having to run through being a slapper, is able to utilize an off-speed pitch, send it back up the middle. It's so important as a 9-hole hitter to get back to Powell with somebody on base.
Sets up KP. Strike 1 in. Kennedy Powell entering the game. A 10-game hitting streak. That is every single game that the Aggies have played so far.
Not a bad start.
Not a bad start. Doesn't have one yet, though. Aggieland might be thinking she's due.
Third time through the order is the perfect time. You start to get more comfortable with the pitcher.
Howell fighting it off and staying alive.
And what I notice about a lot of these Texas A&M hitters is they're so calm even with 2 strikes. And that's what's been really impressive to me. Even by Powell right now, she didn't seem nervous when she got down 2. But if anything, it's allowed her to just tighten up her zone a bit. She continues to dump pitches, still looking for her pitch. And for Grind, that can be maddening. You just want to put her away.
Popped up the middle, check over at second. That's all you're going to get. KP running down the line, a double play is nearly impossible.
I love this play by a pitcher. Talk about that's another athlete and defender you have. And she does such a nice job popping her feet, knowing exactly where she wants to go with the ball the second after she releases it.
Lindsey Grind continues to impress. The senior looking every single part of it. She was the National Pitcher of the Week after this tournament about 365 days ago. So knows exactly what it takes as Oregon dominated at the Nutter. Perfect 5-0 and really a statement to the softball world in 2025. Kowalewski gave that thing a ride, carried all the way to the fence in Harper, but she's there for the play.
Does a nice job sending this ball deep opposite field. Being able to camp under and get an out. Again, one of those loud outs that you have to look at is you're right there and allow that to fuel your dugout and create some sort of momentum.
Perez, first pitch swinging, knocked down. The field general cleaning up the inning herself. Lindsey Grind, some PFP work from the upset in the 5th. Still level. Lindsey Grind keeping it tied. That right there is Cathedral City in a nutshell. A picture-perfect day. Now, even that partly cloudy's doing some work. This is as good as it gets. 57, maybe even a little low for the SoCal folks. A little cool in the shade. But on the softball diamond, it is picture perfect. And I promise you, the folks down from Eugene are not complaining about 57 degrees in Cathedral City.
No one should be allowed to complain about that weather, especially if you're coming from the Midwest. I can promise you, as an athlete and as a player, I still had sunscreen on in that weather. That is a promise.
Low tonight in Eugene is 30 degrees. Don't have to worry about that. Sid goes right back to the rise ball.
And I have loved this game so far. And it feels like we're at a point where both teams feel really evenly matched in what they produced in this game. Now it's about which offense can adjust the most to these pitchers who've been so dominant so far. This is where if you're a hitter, take a risk, do something different.
Addie in the driver's seat.
If I am Amaral right now, I am taking a hard 3-0 take. Anything to try to get a runner on base for my team.
Sure enough.
Even on a 3-1 right now, you're still hunting your pitch. Don't let Lessentine off the hook. What pitch can you feel like you're doing damage on? And unless it's that one, you still have another one to work with.
Emerald on that one, pushing it into foul territory.
And that's a good swing and a rise ball. Emerald, somebody who had so much success her first 2 seasons at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Part of this huge 3 power transfer hitters that Oregon was able to pick up.
Payoff pitch begets another. Got a 350 career hitter, 2 times all-conference in the ACC at that shortstop position. And if you're combining the defense premium shortstop by hitting the better part of 400, you're doing a lot of really good things in this game.
So many good things. And that's one thing that Oregon loved about her, is she brings good average and a lot of power. Not to mention, she's a terrific defensive player. They've just added so much depth to their lineup. And Coach Lombardi said, I'm still trying to figure out what is our best lineup with adding in these new faces. And she's played around with some of the adjustments. And she felt like last weekend they started to find their groove, but she's continuing to still hone in on where she wants everybody to create the most RBIs.
The adjustment for Addie, be playing DH. That's what she's doing in this game at that DP spot. And over at shortstop, Taryn Ho making her debut. Another payoff pitch. That's a high quality walk by Addie Emerald.
Now batting number 1,
That's exactly what you need from her in that situation. She gets a 3-0, stays composed, eventually leads to a walk.
8 pitches to the base on balls, and here's Taryn Ho. Flashes bunt. Sowney was like, please.
I dare you.
Uh-huh. Both these catchers. They're thinking from the word go, please run on me.
We've seen both one have a pair and throwing somebody out today.
Bunt laid down. That's in a great position, and the sacrifice is honored. So Emerald in scoring position. The young Taryn Ho does the job.
Ho, sacrifice bunt, need to get it down, does a good job getting it to Powell, who handled it so well. I thought for a second she might be able to go to 2, but get the Sherrard at 1, and she did exactly that. But for your Oregon right now, you're happy. You have a runner in scoring position with 1 out.
Coach Lombardi asked the newcomer to do a job. She does exactly that.
And that's how you start earning yourself even more opportunities to start in the field and the lineup, which is what she's doing today, by being able to do those little things and be selfless for your team and execute.
Flannery worked the walk in the opening game against Auburn.
She's gonna
Now
go up
trying
and
to get
chase
on base
those
for the
last
first
2
time.
pitches. They seem just a little bit frustrated with herself after getting that second foul ball. You saw her come down, hit the back of her cleat. I think she just reset right now.
Change up.
And it was interesting. We saw Sooney on that one kind of creep up closer towards Flaherty, and it felt like she was trying to get underneath that off speed that was about to come.
Lessentine still in the driver's seat, utilizing some of that count leverage, but Flannery not obliging. Here comes Maddie Sowney to talk to the pitcher.
Yeah, this is when you just want to really get into your pitcher's head and saying, what do you have utmost confidence in throwing right now? How can we execute that pitch? And especially when her rise ball has worked well against Flaherty so much in this at bat, if she's going to go back to it, I would just commend her to get the ball out of the zone.
This is something that the coaching staff's really talked about for the Ags. Pitchers just love throwing to Maddie Sowney, and that's an underrated part of being a catcher, that immediate rapport that you can have. We have a couple freshman catchers in this tournament who are in that spot because the top pitchers really enjoy working with them. And Melissa Lombardi gonna go and continue to allow Katie Flannery to work.
And to your point with the catcher, if you can have somebody who's a leader, especially at an early age, you are setting yourself up to have success for a lot of years. A catcher sets the tone and keeps the pitcher under a good composure.
Flannery went after one top shelf, and the routine is kept that way. So after the leadoff walk, Lessentine bounces back for back-to-back.
And that out did deserve that big smile you just saw from Powell, crediting your pitcher to doing exactly her job. And that's the best situation you want with a runner on second. Just force that weak pop-up.
Elise gets just a piece on a foul tip.
And for Oregon, when you're struggling against this rise ball, there's a few different things you can do. You can change your bat path and try to get on top of the ball, or you could change where you actually are in the batter's box. And I'd love to see them try to creep up or back. If you go back, that allows you to see the pitch longer. If you go up, it allows you to be more aggressive in trying to get on top of the ball before it breaks. And I just feel like they're stuck in the middle right now.
Right after the rise, you see Leg at second there, continuing. She wants to come home. Lessentine on the doorstep and never giving her that opportunity as the pinch runner.
Yeah, for Leg, she's doing a great job because if that ball gets put in play, she's off to the races.
Whew. No chance for it to be put in play. 3 strikeouts in the last couple innings. Lessentine getting better as the game goes on, just like the Ags drew it up. Mary Nutter Collegiate Classic living up to its billing so far here in game number 2. As tight as it can possibly be here at Big League Dreams. Happy to have you along for the ride. Corey Brooks, Sid Supley with you here from Cathedral City. Want to remind you that PGF was founded in 2009 and today crowns the unquestioned national champions across 9 age divisions. Every year, just shy of 700 teams compete across those age groups at the 17-day event held across parks in Huntington Beach, Fountain Valley, and Irvine. PGF is where the best of the best play an amateur fast pitch softball since 2009. Thousands of female student athletes have realized their dreams to play on the college level by performing with top-level competition in front of college recruiters. PGF produces hundreds of tournaments and showcases each year across the country, including the PGF High School All-American Game, which is unanimously considered the highest individual honor in youth fast pitch softball. Mirror Girls Fast Pitch, the future of the game, is here. Hashtag play PGF. Talon Edwards going to work to begin this 6th inning. We're going to decide this thing late. Auburn had a nice little lead by this point in game number 1 through that final haymaker to really widen it and make that final score a little more distance than the actual game was. But now we're going to pick this thing apart in the 6th and the 7th. Strike 1 in from Lindsey Grind.
These are the games you love being in. Who can win the last 6 outs? It's almost like you can wipe clean the first few innings. Right there, what a gift for Texas A&M.
Leadoff base runners have not necessarily been the issue for the Ags in every inning except the first. They have gotten somebody on base right out of the gate.
Get away for Grind. And, you know, Corey, they call it softball, but I have gotten hit by rise balls like that. I can promise you it's not soft, and that hurts right now.
No. That's a trick. For the first time, you have one coming at you, you're like, it's a softball, I'll be fine. And then you realize very quickly, nope, it's not. Here's McWork. Just missed the release point there.
For Grind, and I'm sure for her, she understands that Work is the one that took her deep earlier in this game. So she's trying to be extra sharp with her rise ball. But after walking a batter, you really have nowhere to go. You want to attack her and force her to put the ball in play.
Already lucky number 7 on the campaign for Mick Work, who has not been retired yet today. Walking a home run to begin her time in Cathedral City. Here's another look at it. Michaela Ward didn't waste a whole lot of time, just the second pitch in the 4th inning, and she knew it the second it left her bat.
This is an awesome celebration. What a reward for hitting a home run. I just would want to do that with my team. I think teams are getting more and more creative each year with how they can celebrate each other.
Yep. Top shelf, Lindsey Grind gets her revenge.
That was heat after heat. You could tell that Work was trying to go for a second home run. And Grind did a good job taking advantage of that, knowing she'd go after a rise ball. And that's a big hack, but an even better pitch.
KK Domeno for 2 today. Did hit the ball hard back in the 4th. She's thinking she's due. And now Talon's in scoring position to make the opportunity even better.
And we've seen a few of these from Lindsey Grind where she just loses a bit of control with her rise ball. However, I'm not necessarily upset about it because I know she's going 100% off the mound. And you rather have a pitcher who's being so aggressive and violent with her snap and just work to find that release point.
Goes right to it there, and sure enough, the barrel is under the softball for a strike.
I mean, I've heard college coaches say, I recruit the pitcher who throws it off the backstop because that's the one that's just fearless.
It keeps on working.
Right now, these Texas A&M hitters are trying to get around this rise ball. They need to see it travel a little bit deeper in the zone. Not look to pull it, but rather try to go opposite field.
Take there. Grinds off to such a confident start this year, and literally the season opener, she throws a no-hitter with a career-high 14 strikeouts against Missouri. It's the first ever no-no in a season opener in the long history of UO softball. And the first 7-inning affair since McKenna Clee-Thermos did it. And right now, that confidence is serving Lindsey Grind well. No advance is possible for Talon Edwards.
And I was at that game, just came as a fan for one of the games I was calling that night, and She looked unstoppable. And I was standing
Yep.
behind Emma Cox, and I think what stood out to me the most was the glove pop. And she's somebody who throws, upper 60s, but it felt like it was coming even faster with how sharp her spin is.
Sowney watching ball one. That's such a cool vantage point when you can get behind the catcher and see the pitch. And you're used to it because you've thrown them, but I remember the first genuine softball pitch I watched from behind the catcher was a Lauren Hager curveball. And I immediately texted my analyst that game. I'm like, how does anyone get a hit ever? Like, those of us outside the game who haven't played at this level have no idea until you actually see it from behind the catcher, the insane velocity and whip that these pitchers get on the softball.
Well, that's why I love that the Women's College World Series started implementing that umpire cam that they go to every once in a while behind home plate, that you can see these pitchers, their ball break in real time, and you're just amazed that a hitter can decide that quickly on to swing or not.
Pinch runner over at second. Haley Golden's going to check in. So with some count leverage, Trisha Ford sensing an opportunity, so she gets some additional speed on the base paths.
Especially 2 outs. She's running on the pitch. On any ball put in play.
Scored 3 runs on the campaign. Last came in and ran against the team you know very well, Sid, in Northwestern.
Coach Ford saying, even for them, what a gritty win that was against the Drohan sisters. You always give her a good battle.
Right now, there will be even more threat on the pond. The freshman Sowney on base for the first time in the Mary Nutter Collegiate Classic. And Kelsey Mathis has 2 on with a couple down.
You don't want to look too far ahead, but then I think about how Brazel is on deck, and she's 2 for 2 on the day. So there is still some momentum here in this bottom of the order to do damage.
Mathis looking for her first hit of the tournament.
See Grind doing a little shoulder shimmy, trying to keep herself loose.
It's just one of those pitches where if you're Mathis, that's all you can do, is kind of lean back, groan, step out, go back to work.
Yeah, Grind is on the very top of the zone, has done such a good job of trying to hammer it over and over.
Hit hard, but it's an adder ball. Flannery on top. You had a feeling that this thing was going to be a pitcher's duel, and both pitchers certainly lived up to that billing. Has put together a phenomenal show from the word go. And now, Trisha Ford will go in her bag. Lessentine will step aside, and we'll see Kate Munnerlyn enter. She's thrown 11 innings so far, a record of 1-2. She has struck out 14 while walking just 3.
She has pounded the zone in such a big way, and I love this decision. It could look as a risk for other people, but Coach Ford knows Lessentine, one, is warm if she ever needs to come back to her, but that this Oregon team is now coming through their 4th time through the lineup, try to be a step ahead of the offense, and how can they now have to adjust to yet a new arm?
Right as K-Dub comes up in the leadoff hitter. So yeah, sometimes it can be very difficult to figure out the pitching calculus, right? But you're dead on there. Hey, it's another time through the order. We're not messing around. We're changing the look. Munnerlyn begins her tournament. The ball inside.
And not only do you change the look, but you go from a righty to a lefty. And in our sport, that's a really big deal for hitters. The ball is coming on the completely different side of the arm, and it just takes a while to adjust, especially because she's somebody who has a really good curveball. So against these lefties, which there's 3 in the top 5 hitters for Oregon, the ball's going to be going away from them.
Munnerlyn goes with the bender. It's funny, while I was doing my prep, I was getting ready to write down the note that Munnerlyn is the type of player that you play this tournament for if you're A&M, because she's from California, and now she gets to play in California. Her hometown's about 7 hours away, which is a lot closer than College Station, but a nice reminder that California is not always the same as California sometimes.
It is such a big state, and somebody who grew up in the Midwest, I learned that very quickly with all the tournaments out there that you'd go for a non-conference. All of them so unique. Mary Nutter being more of a desert vibe, that kind of that dry heat type of feel, but like we mentioned, cold in the mornings and nights.
Still, Munnerlyn, really deep connection with A&M, despite being California-born. Parents, her grandpa, aunts and uncles, all went to Texas A&M. So this reunion was made in the stars, the sophomore Munnerlyn playing for the Texas A&M Aggies. Her full count is high and tight. K-Dub's fired up. She's on base for a 2nd time. It's a leadoff base runner for the Ducks.
I love when you have a hitter who's going to celebrate a walk this much, throws her bat down, looks in the dugout and says, come on, let's do this. She's somebody who is leading the way in every part of this lineup.
Right back to the bunt game. That's in a good spot, and there's no play to be had. The wheels of Harper have the Ducks in their best position of the day.
The best bunts are when you can get on the very first pitch and catch the defense on their heels. This is just a well-executed bunt. I told you Munnerlyn was a left-handed pitcher. I dealt with this all this time being a southpaw myself. When you have a bunt that's to your left, it is so hard to try to field it and turn your body 180 degrees. Your only shot is the shuffle pass. And Munnerlyn, it was just at an awkward angle for her to try to do so.
It just kept rolling. She didn't even have a chance to pick it up to try and shuffle it over. And so now it's a massive chance for Butler, who's already homered today.
That's why you have to take so much pride into the small ball game, something Oregon does. And sometimes for a team, you know, while you look at Texas A&M, they're trying to be a step ahead of Oregon. This might have been a sigh of relief. They were having a hard time just finding answers against the Lessentine. This might be a new opportunity, renewed hope.
Butler identifying the deepest part of the yard. This is a hitter-friendly park, but center field is still center field. She didn't care one bit, drove it all the way, and crushed it immediately.
Butler, 37 home runs in her career at California, her first 3 seasons. Already notching a few of her own here at Oregon.
For 100 RBI, slugged over 600. There's power in that stick. Won't matter here. Kate Munnerlyn has her first K.
Oh, this is just too good. Especially if you know somebody who's thinking the long ball, to be able to pull the string. Not a bad time for your first off speed in the game.
Off speed's got a little break to it as well, out of the hand of the southpaw Munnerlyn. A tough pitch to deal with. Pitching change. Trisha Ford's in her bag, and she's going to use all the golf clubs available to her. Sydney Peters is going to warm up for the Ags. Well, we've had a couple of pinch runners come in the middle of at-bats, and now we're going to get Sydney Peters coming in after a strikeout. 1.64 the ERA, an unblemished record. 3-0, 21 in the third innings pitch. She has struck out 31 while walking just 5. The most used pitcher in the SEC, leading that league in appearances, gets another opportunity to go right back to work for her squad. Sid Peters, Mary Nutter debut against Emma Cox in the heart of the Oregon Order.
Also the first upperclassman we've seen for Texas A&M on the mound. We've seen 2 sophomores already today. But like you said, Peter's just a wealth of experience. But she's somebody who has battled through injuries her entire career. She got a perfect record throughout her first 2 seasons. And Coach Ford couldn't say enough. She said she was extra motivated this offseason, put in the work, and you can tell that within her calmness, confidence on the mound.
That's exactly what I was going to say. You look at last year, limited to just 11 appearances because of injuries, was dynamic. I mean, a 1.75 ERA is incredible. But as she is an upperclassman, she certainly has the knowledge of multiple years. Now she gets to show that as the experience develops. Case in point.
And Coach Ford said, take a look at her breath work when she's on the mound. Before it was a little bit more choppy, but just now that she feels she's so controlled and confident on the mound, it is smoothed out. It allowed for her defense behind her to just feel that confidence coming from her. And you can sense that right now. This is a big situation in the game, and she's just playing within herself.
Cox got on that one, dropped it to the grass. A wide turn, and Oregon gets it done behind Emma Cox. The Ducks finding their way to success.
This is really impressive by Emma Cox. A new pitcher coming into this game. How quickly can you learn her? This one, she's able to get on top of a rise ball and poke it through just enough. I like this decision. No sense in getting the second out right now at home plate when you have what was one of the top 3 freshmen in the nation coming up to bat with bases loaded.
Oregon never giving Sid Peters a chance to settle into this game. Peters gets to talk to the infield.
And Riley McCoy looks like she will come in to hit for Stephanie Maake. One power hitter for another power hitter.
Changing up the look after Peters changes up the look in the circle.
What an opportunity to take your first lead of the game here today in the bottom of the sixth. This is when it counts.
Peters seeing the first pitch, missed for ball one. What a chance for Riley McCoy. Tore up this tournament last year. She was the National Freshman of the Week. McCoy sees Edwards on it to close the door. It's still productive. Riley McCoy does the job, and the Ducks have a lead.
As a right-handed hitter, you have to have a lot of power to be able to be jammed in the inner half of the plate, still spray it to opposite field. And that's a win. That's a win for McCoy. That's a win for the Ducks.
Oh, watching strike one. Riley McCoy just has that built in her right now. She had a 3-run home run in the late stages last year off Taylor Pennell, who now pitches for Texas A&M. So it must be something in the air for the clutch plays of Riley McCoy.
She's somebody who wants the bat when the pressure gets big, and as a coach, you just love athletes like that.
Lifts into left. Atlas camps under it to make the play, but the Oregon Ducks lead for the first time, and they do so with 6 complete. All of a sudden, this is a do-or-die 7th for Texas A&M. Since 2011, USA Prep Stamps and Showcases have provided guaranteed college coach exposure, giving teams and student athletes a direct path to be seen through elite competition and on-field instruction. Visit www.usapreps.com to see the full 2026 event schedule. Well, coaches today have been exposed to a great softball game, but it's Oregon forcing the issue. Texas A&M needs a run here in the 7th, or Oregon earns the win on the back end of their doubleheader. 9-1-2 slated to go for the Ags, starting with Frankie Brajla, who's a perfect 2 of 2.
Gosh, and as a pitcher, don't you just love when the only inning that you can step on the mound with having a lead is the 7th inning? I mean, that just was scripted perfectly. And for
Lindsey
Grind right now,
looking for her 2nd complete game.
with where they are in the bottom of the order, Leadoff out has been her biggest struggle. You want to attack right now. You do not want to give somebody a free base before you have to turn it back up to Powell.
If the Ags can get one base runner on and keep them on, Maya Perez will get a chance to hit here in the 7th.
And you know, that's something all of them are aware of. They're just trying to wear down Grind right now. If she can just keep pounding the zone, you can hear her defense being extra vocal with her, saying, we have your back, just trust us.
Across the diamond in time, 2 outs away. And Brajo retired for the first time.
Flaherty doing a great job at the hot corner, smothered every bit of that ball off the bat, as Brazel's been swinging it so well today. If you have to face Powell, you want to face her with 1 out, nobody on.
0 for 2, but did reach base with a walk. And is up.
Both of these teams have had comeback, really gritty wins. Neither one of them going to give up till their last strike. And the Ducks coming into this weekend, they've struck out 8 or more batters in 6 of their 9 games this season. They're a team that lives off their pitching staffs.
Bunts down, Grind. Couldn't quite get it there in time. A nightmare on the base paths. And Kennedy Powell's going to give her squad a chance.
Powell is just so fast because Grind fields this one cleanly, turns to throw it, throws a dart, and Powell still has it beat.
One of the best base runners, not only in the SEC, but in America, doing her thing. And now the question will be, do they challenge Emma Cox? Or let Kowalewski aim to keep it going for Maya Perez, who is on deck?
Yeah, that's a great question. The one thing you know for sure is that Cox is going to be keeping an eye on her. If she senses any movement, she's not afraid to throw and backpick you. Looks like we're gonna see some pitching changes on Oregon's side as well.
Grind's been masterful, 6 1/3. It was literally one pitch. And they're gonna give her a break. Ducks make we saw her in game number 1, and Coach Lombardi's going to go back to her, looking to slam the door here in the 7th inning.
I love how both coaches are doing so much to try to stay ahead of the other one's offensive game plan. And that's what coaching is all about. And here are 2 of the best in the game, where it's a chess match. And the Ducks have ultimate confidence in Grind going to Sikulski. It's something they did a lot in 2025, especially in the postseason. Sikulski has done such a great job at learning what does she need in her bullpens during the game, so when she steps on the mound, she's ready by the very first pitch.
gave the chance against Powell. That bunt single by KP marked the beginning of the 4th time through against Grine. That's an automatic pull for most pitchers. Grine is that good. They gave her a shot, but that bunt single opens the door for Sokolsky. There's the ground ball, turned to first, and it sails high. Oh, an extension of life. The game nearly over.
Oregon brings in Sokolsky for one reason: generate ground balls, a drop ball that will do so. A nice job here turning one. This one sails over Maake, but shout out to Cox with the backup being the catcher, hustled on down that first base line. So no problems were had.
Here you go. Maya Perez will get a chance for Texas A&M. What can the All-American do?
I love right now just taking extra time, understanding what a big moment this is. Nobody's rushing you. Make this your at-bat.
Perez chopped it up, gloved, and it hits the bag. Taryn Ho on her debut day snatches it away. Another save for Sokolsky, one of the best closers in Ducks history, and they pick up a top 15 win.
The comeback kids. Oregon earlier this morning didn't get off on the right foot. They regrouped and in 30 minutes pull up a resume win that is one of their best of the season. It started in the circle. Lindsey Grine was the ultimate leader for the Ducks. She allowed the bats to wait until they could get hot at the very end, and it was the defense behind. Ho having her very first start, and from outfield to infield, the Ducks looked really well, but Texas A&M is another team you're going to have to look out for here at the Mary Nutter.
Yeah, they're going to try and do exactly what Oregon just did. Get that bounce back, keep the good going. A fun softball game. Old school pitchers duel, and it ends with a ball in the dirt. 2-1 the final. We've got plenty more softball here on Wrigley. 3 more games coming your way. It's Auburn looking to make it a sweep. UCLA making their debut. One of the hosts on deck. Fun one in the books. See you in a bit.